Maynilad, the water concessionaire operated by Metro Pacific Investments in DMCI, wants government to pay for the MWS's refusal to hike water rates it won in arbitration court 2 months ago. Maynilad says the rate hike should have been in effect since 2013, and every month of delay costs it at least 208 million pesos a month. The MWSS had said it was holding back on the rate hike to wait for the results of another arbitration case involving Metro Manila's southern water concessionaire, the Ayala-led Manila Water.
Well, the two concessionaires filed separate cases last year after the MWSS rejected their separate request for a rate hike, ordering a rate cut instead. Maynilad is worried the MWSS might not let them implement their rate adjustment at all if the MWSS wins its arbitration case against Manila Water.
And joining us now in Dateline Philippines is the Chief Financial Officer of Maynilad, Mr. Randy Estrellado. Randy, thanks for coming. The latest in this saga is the letter to the Department of Finance. Tell us something more about the letter and why did you write DOF?
Yes, we wrote DOF yesterday basically to exercise our rights under the Concession Agreement and the undertaking that written by the government itself that it would force the MWSS to follow any rate increases that are properly determined. Our issue is the arbitration case came out 2 months ago and they haven't acted on it, and now they're saying that we should wait for the Manila Water arbitration, which we feel has no bearing in the arbitration case, our own tariff, which is final and executory.
So you're saying the Department of Finance can actually order the MWSS to implement your decision or the decision where you won in the latest proceedings?
Yes, among other things. Under the undertaking, the DOF or the Republic of the Philippines is supposed to make us whole for any delays in the tariff implementation. So it's really up to them. What is important is we've been able, or we exercise our right, and we inform them that we expect the government to be true to its word when it signed this undertaking letter 17 years ago.
So after the Department of Finance, just in case the Department of Finance does not heed your request, where do you go? You cannot go to court, right?
Under the undertaking letter itself, it says that if we have a disagreement on how it's implemented, then we can still go to another arbitration, but this time based in Singapore. So our last arbitration was done here, but for this particular case, if we go after the Republic, it has to be in Singapore.
Are you doing that? Another?
Are you taking that step?
Yeah?
We're talking about 3 weeks here also, no?
Well, the problem with waiting is it gives credence to what they're saying, that the results of that arbitration should affect us. Our position is it shouldn't, which is why we already sent the letter yesterday instead of waiting, just to let them know that we take the concession agreement and the undertaking seriously, and that we expect them to implement the rate increase regardless of the decision on the Manila Water case.
Any idea as to what the arbitration panel did finally decide?
For Manila Water, they just told us it should be due in 3 to 4 weeks, which we think is too long considering that ours was decided December 29 last year.
And you're talking about what in terms of losses? So every day practically counts here.
Yeah, well, on a monthly basis, we lose around 208 million pesos a month just on the unimplemented portion of the tariff.
When it comes to the decision, what gives the other concessionaire the power or the right to actually impose restrictions or to tell you to hold off?
No, it's MWSS that is saying that that's their position. We think there is no basis for that position, and if they really want to be consistent, then they can actually back off their position in Manila Water. Based on our case, the drafters of the concession agreement, everyone who's implemented it in the last 17 years, has agreed to our position. So if they want consistency, they can always back off in their position in Manila Water, so there will be a consistent implementation of the rules.
The meat of the issue here, well, you've won the case, right? But the meat of the issue here is the passing on of the income tax, the corporate income tax, to consumers like us. Please refresh our minds. What is the basis for Maynilad in passing the income tax to its consumers? That is the crux of the matter, right?
You know, Alvin, we have we've always objected to the term passing on. But really, what we're arguing is the return that was promised to us was an after-tax return. We are our concession agreement is a reimbursement contract. Government itself admits that they owe us, as of 2012, at least 60 billion pesos. And the question is, what kind of return are we entitled to on that? Is that a post-tax or a pre-tax return? For the last 17 years, and when the concessionaires came in, we understood it to be a post-tax return. Now they're saying it's pre-tax. So we have an issue with that, and that's why we took it to arbitration court, and they agreed with us.
Yeah, and you won. Although there's a dissenting opinion, but the majority decision favored your position. And so what's wrong with waiting for a little bit? Maybe the decision in the Manila Water case will also favor the charging of income tax.
That's well and good, but like I said, it's a matter of principle. We don't believe that the results of Manila Water should even affect what we are allowed to charge. And therefore, if they are so worried about consistency, then just follow the last 17 years. Just follow what the drafters of the concession agreement and even their consultants and all the lawyers that worked on it, that's what they believed in. They believed it was a post-tax return, so they should just let it be.
You're saying that you plan to bring this up to Singapore if necessary.
If necessary.
If necessary. But when it gets to that point, what then can happen? Can they in fact compel that action be taken?
Well, government or the Republic signed the undertaking. We're hoping it doesn't go into arbitration in Singapore. We just wrote the letter yesterday. So we will, right now we will wait.
There are implications here, Randy. You've told us time and again that more than what Maynilad wants to claim are future investments that also require, undertaking from the government. What do you see?
Yeah, just ourselves alone. We do go to the financial markets. We borrow money, and the reason we're able to do this and invest at least 40 billion in the last 7 years is because they believe that there is a contract that will be respected by the government. It has the Republic's undertaking. So and now here's the government again inviting so many investors to do all the large PPP projects. So Maynilad and Manila Water is like the most successful PPP project that the government has ever done. You know what the water situation was like in 1997? We ourselves, when we entered in 2007, less than half of our customers had 24-hour water or 7 PSI. So it's been very successful. And now here they are saying, they want to change the rules. So how do you invest? How do you encourage investors now to come in and invest billions when you're not sure whether a contract will be respected?
So you're saying this might discourage future investments where government is involved in a contract signed by both parties?
Certainly, to make it think twice. There are projects now for a second water source. There's the Kaliwa Dam. There's the Bulacan Bulk Project to provide bulk water in the province of Bulacan. How will the investors now think or treat that contract that will be offered to them when they win these projects?
So the consumers will actually be burdened by what you want, but in exchange, giving you what you want will also mean good service. Well, hopefully that.
As you always said, the most expensive water is no water. So this has been successful, and because of this, millions of customers are now enjoying potable water in our service area, and we want to be able to continue doing this.
Leading up to summer, no problems in sight?
So far, none.
Okay.
And it's not related whether or not you're going to be given that 200.
We ended the year with good dam levels. The level of Angat Dam was fairly safe.
Okay, so after the Department of Finance finally, you will go to Malacanang. Is that an option to appeal to the President himself?
Our shareholders will have to decide that. At this point, we've only decided to write that letter. We will now wait what they intend, what the response will be.
Okay. Thanks for your time. Thank you, Randy. Randy Estrellado, the Chief Financial Officer of Maynilad. We tried to get a side of MWSS which says it will issue a statement within a week.
Shouldn't be a longer wait then.
Up ahead, Grace gets a 4-month extension on its bailout.
And we'll introduce you to the man who's biking his way to the 2016 Summer Olympics in Brazil. Stay tuned for the final stretch of Dateline Philippines with that.